What is going on, guys? Jason Burke here, Styles Clash for life, coming at you on YouTube, and today I've got some football focus. The Pittsburgh Steelers have narrowed down their roster to their final 53 or 55, considering the COVID era, and their roster is picked out, and their depth chart is pretty much finalized. Their first game is coming up next Monday. As you guys will be seeing this, it'll be this coming Monday by the time this video goes up. So I wanted to bring you guys my final roster review. I'm as sad as a lot of you are. There was no preseason, so we didn't get to see a lot of the free agents trying to make a splash, or some new signings, or the rookies. We didn't get to see any of them personally. All we had to go off of was training camp. I love preseason. I love predicting position battles. I love predicting the roster and doing those videos. You guys always seem to enjoy those. This year we could not do those, but I didn't want to shortchange my football fans on this channel. I still wanted to bring you guys at least the final opening day roster, and at least kind of talk about who I think can make an impact, who's going to be starting, who's behind them, and what I think of the overall roster heading into the first game next Monday night against the Giants. And I'll be bringing you guys more Steelers content as well coming up. But I'm on the official Pittsburgh Steelers website. My computer is just off screen here. I'm on the official Steelers website, and I've done position-by-position breakdowns. It goes in alphabetical order, so starting with center and going down. So I'm going to do it the way that it's listed here. I'm not going to do quarterback, running back, wide receiver. I'll do the breakdown by alphabetical order, so it's going to be a little bit weird doing it that way. But I just wanted to bring you guys the final roster and my thoughts on the roster and how I think it's going to shake out. So first of all, we have centers. Maurkice Pouncey obviously is a lock as the Pro Bowl starter for us, longtime veteran going into his 12th year. The guy is great. Glad he's back. Hopefully he stays healthy this year. Injuries have been kind of a problem for him the last couple of years, but he's a Pro Bowler when he's healthy. One of the best in the entire football league. And then, surprisingly, J.C. Hassenauer is the backup center to Pouncey this year. He is the one guy I didn't think was going to make this roster on the offensive line. I think they kept 9 linemen instead of 8 this year, so 1 extra. Didn't think Hassenauer was going to make it. I haven't seen much of Hassenauer. It's his second season out of Alabama. Didn't get to watch him play very much because of the COVID situation. No preseason. So Hassenauer is backing up Pouncey. Excited to see a new face on the roster. I think he's going to be good depth for us, and I hope he gets a chance to, hope we don't see him play because that means Pouncey's hurt. But if he does get in there, hopefully he can be something for us. So 2 centers on this roster. Again, Hassenauer, big surprise. Cornerbacks, we have 5 corners on this roster. No, we have 6 corners on this roster. We've got our 2 big starters, obviously, Hayden and Nelson, coming back from last year. Hayden had a very good year, finished strong. Nelson was one of the best signings we had in a long time, with a very quietly good year at cornerback too. Played very well on the outside. The 2 slot inside guys we have are Mike Hilton and Cam Sutton. Both back this year. Good to see both of those guys return. Hopefully Mike Hilton gets a long-term deal. Hilton and Sutton are both very good on the inside. Hilton with the blitzing, Sutton with the coverage on the inside. So there's your big 4 back again. Hayden, Nelson, Hilton, and Sutton. Justin Lane coming in his 3rd season at number 5 corner. Or is it his 2nd season? I'm reading this wrong here. Justin Lane didn't look very good in preseason last year, but comes out with Michigan State with high hopes. So he's going to be our incumbent once Hayden gets a little long in the tooth. He's been around for quite a while. So Justin Lane to 5, and then a surprise. I thought they'd keep 5 corners. They kept 6 this year. James Pierre coming in as a rookie out of Florida Atlantic. I have not seen him. He was an undrafted rookie. He's got a small frame. He's kind of a tiny guy, but they seem to like him. They said he was a ball hawk in camp. He was all around the ball making breakups and was able to spot the ball in the air pretty well. So I've heard good things out of him in camp. I don't think he's going to dress on game day or pretty much play at all, barring injuries, but it seems like they're pretty high on him. So we've got a nice undrafted rookie on the roster at number 6. So nice surprise there. Hopefully Pierre progresses well as we go forward, playing on the outside. Then we've got the defensive line guys listed at the end here, but they're going to play pretty much nose tackle, replacing our biggest loss, Hargrave, from the offseason. Tyson Alualu and Isaiah Buggs are going to wind up playing in the D-tackle spot. It looks like Alualu is moving over from defensive end to be the veteran fill-in at tackle. So the starting 3 here are going to wind up being Hayward on the outside, Alualu on the inside, and then the returning Stephon Tuitt on the other side. So Three veterans, good presences. I think Alu is going to play well on the inside. He's been a very underrated veteran, a solid pickup for us for a couple of years now. He's filled in very admirably when either Tuitt or Hayward has gotten hurt. I like Alu a lot. I think he's going to be good on the inside. And I think Isaiah Buggs is one of those X-Factor players. I think he's going to wind up showing us a lot more this year than we saw in the past. I really like him a lot. I think he's going to grow. He might even wind up taking Alu back to the bench and taking that spot eventually because Alu is more suited for the outside. So we might see if Buggs comes along, he can be one of those guys that's fun to watch. I think he's got a lot of potential, and I think he might show us, if he gets playing time this year filling in, what he can do at nose tackle. So again, the starters right now are Hayward, Tuitt, and Alu, but watch out for Isaiah Buggs. Also on the inside, Carlos Davis at nose tackle and possibly even on the outside. I think he was the XFL guy, I'm pretty sure. He was the late round draft pick from Nebraska. I think he was the 7th round draft pick. Big frame, big guy, good motor. They say he's pretty fast for his size, pretty athletic. The tape on him looked pretty good. Haven't heard much in camp about what Carlos Davis did, but his tape looked really solid, and he's one to watch. They actually bumped Big Dan McCullers off the roster for this, and every year I say McCullers' ceiling has already been seen. He's not that special. He hasn't done much when he's filled in. I haven't liked what I've seen from Dan McCullers for a few years now. So to see somebody come in like Carlos Davis and bump him off the roster kind of reaffirms that. But McCullers is also on the practice squad and could be called up any time. So there are a few extra spots this year on the roster, but because of the pandemic, so we could be seeing McCullers still on the roster at some point. But Carlos Davis, I don't think he'll dress. But if he does, look out for him. Let's see what he can do. Fullback Derek Watt. Obviously, we let go of Rosie Nix in the offseason and picked up Derek Watt from the former Chargers, I believe. One of the better fullbacks in the league. He's quick. He can block well. He can pass catch. I like what Watt does overall. I think he has one of the better skill sets of all the fullbacks in the league. I think he's going to help this running game tremendously. The combination of the running backs we have back there this year, plus getting a healthy fullback to play hopefully all season this year, plus Ben's return to aid the passing game, I think this offense gets a lot better in the run game now this year, hopefully. Guard, we have David DeCastro. Obviously, he has been injured. There's talk of whether he will or won't play in week 1. He is another one that is a all-pro, one of the best at his position when he plays. So I hope that he's playing in week 1. Tomlin says that he's hopeful. I hope that he does play. That is a big deal for us. At guard, obviously, he is one of the best linemen we have and one of the best linemen in the NFL when he's healthy. Kicker Chris Boswell has returned. What a bounce-back year he had last season. He was one of the best Steelers and had a huge bounce-back year after the big letdown contract season. So good to see Boswell back. Linebackers, we have, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 linebackers on the roster. 4 outside, 4 inside. The obvious outsiders, I'm just bouncing around here. We have TJ Watt and Bud Dupree on the outside. Good to see Dupree franchise tagged. It's still going to be a contract year for him, so we'll see what he can do. TJ Watt, I hope he gets extended because he is an all-pro. Dupree played like an all-pro last year. It was the best year by far and away for Bud Dupree. He was an all-pro last year. Let's hope that he plays that way again and can find his way back to this roster. If he plays half as good as he did last year, it's going to be a dangerous combo because TJ Watt is one of the best in the world at what he does. So you've got Watt and Dupree back there again. You've got Alex Highsmith, who they're really big on. He's backing up Dupree this year on the outside. They see a lot of potential in him. I wasn't big on the draft pick when I saw it. Even though he fits the Steelers with his speed and power, he's got a nice combination. He looks like he has a lot of techniques down. But I wasn't big on the pick because we had the guys we had. But Tuzar Skipper's on the practice squad now. I believe he is. I know he was cut. I hope he's on the practice squad. But Skipper did not get to make the roster this year. We didn't get to see him play in preseason. So our preseason phenom from last year is no longer on the roster. So it's going to fall on Highsmith back there as the backup outsider. As well, Ola Adeni is back. And when Adeni's healthy, he can make a difference. But he hasn't gotten on the field a whole lot. And he hasn't been healthy when he has been out there. So good to see if Adeni can push ahead this year and kind of make some ground to see what we can do for next year. Or if Highsmith jumps over Ola Adeni as the number 3 on the outside. So interesting to watch that, to see if Ola can, it's a big year for him to break out if he can. And if not, Highsmith can come for his backup outside linebacker spot. Inside, we have our 2 starters returning. sorry, I'm just scrolling around here. And Vince Williams and Devin Bush. Bush obviously had a big year in creating turnovers last year so fast. His coverage has been kind of what's lacking for him, but I think having the full season will help. We did lose Mark Barron. We cut him for salary last year. I liked having a coverage veteran out there to help Bush with coverage. Sad to see him go. I didn't like that cut. But we also are getting UG3, Ulysses Gilbert III, back on the inside healthy this year, and they like him a lot, and I like him a lot. He is one of my biggest sleepers. I talked earlier about Isaiah Buggs on defense being a sleeper that could fill in and make some moves. I think UG3 can be that as well. You have to always have a third inside linebacker filling in once in a while, and I think with Vince Williams being strictly kind of a blitzer, a tackle guy, and not a coverage guy, I think you want to have Gilbert in there. Gilbert's so fast, is a solid coverage linebacker, and if he comes back healthy like we expect him to, I think he's going to fill in a little more than you think. I think he's going to be out there quite a bit this year, as long as he can stay healthy. I think it's going to wind up that Bush winds up being your turnover and tackle guy, and UG3 kind of winds up filling in as the coverage guy, and Vince Williams still gets in there for his sacks and his blitzes, stuff like that. These three altogether are high energy, fast, good tacklers. I think it's going to be solid. You just have to worry about the inside linebacking coverage, because the strongest one out of the coverage of the three, I think, is UG3. So you have to hope for UG3 to stay healthy and hope for Devin Bush to come a long way in his coverage last year, because that was his weakness last year. So I think we have a solid group in those three. Also, Robert Spillane in there is the fourth inside linebacker. Kind of surprised to see him make the roster. He went to the practice squad last year after preseason. He's another one of these guys. Good at blitzing, good at forcing fumbles on the blind side, solid tackler, but his coverage is just not very good. He was a liability when he played preseason with coverage last year. But again, good blitzer and good special teams guy, good tackler on special teams. So he's probably going to be doing that a lot this season, and hopefully we're not going to see him on the field too much in regular downs. So those are your 8 linebackers, pretty solid group. I do wish we had found a way to keep Tuzo our skipper, but other than that, pretty happy there. Cameron Canaday, the veteran long snapper, is back for us. I did not mention nose tackle Chris Wormley. He wasn't lumped in with the D tackles. Chris Wormley is another guy that could play inside along with Buggs and along with Alualu. We traded for him from the Ravens. He was a starter for them last year, and the Ravens just got more guys on the roster that were just better. But Wormley is a young guy from Michigan. I like the trade for him last year. I think he's a high motor. He's a good ball batter. I like him knocking balls away. And he's another guy that I wouldn't mind seeing get on the field a little bit to see what he can do. Because, again, Alualu is great, but he's more of an outside guy. So you have plenty of depth back there to make up for Hargrave. None of these guys are as good as Hargrave or can do what he does. But as a group together, Wormley, Buggs, and Alualu give you a lot of different things and a lot of things to be excited about on the inside tackle spots. Listed as just plain offensive linemen here. We have Kevin Dotson, the big boy, coming out of Louisiana, the rookie. His mentality and his motor, he just fits in so well here. He's got a great energy. Seems like he's a fan-friendly guy. I like this pick. I think he's going to be a nice backup on the O-line. I like him a lot. Chuks Okorafor, I like him a lot. He's been around now. This is his 3rd or 4th season coming out of Western Michigan. I like Okorafor a lot. He's got his weak spots, though, so we'll see. He's the backup tackle right now, O-tackle. So we'll see what he can do. And then Wisniewski, we traded for him last season. Last season or this season? It all blends together now. We traded for him. He's a 10-year vet. I like Wisniewski a lot. He's another strong physical guy that I think fits the place. They just announced that Zach Banner is starting at O-tackle over Chuks Okorafor, so Zach Banner getting his start now for the loss we incurred last season on the O-line. I like Banner. He's another Pittsburgh guy, fan favorite, strong guy, 335. I like what he can do. This line did have 2 losses in the offseason, but we made up for it, I think. I like this group. It's a little bit younger. It's pretty solid. Matt Filer in there at O-tackle and Alejandro Villanueva starting for us. So, again, you've got a solid, 9 guys on the O-line that I think can be something if they gel and stay healthy. Healthy for the offensive line is super important because, number 1, you want to improve the run game. And number 2, or 1B, you want to keep Big Ben from getting hit. Big Ben is older. He's a bigger guy. He's been out for an entire season. You got a veteran quarterback coming back from a long-term injury. you want to make sure he stays on his feet because we live and die this season with Big Ben. We saw last year what happened when Big Ben was not there. So he is the number one biggest, most important piece to this offense improving from like 29th where it was last year with Rudolph and Duck. So we need Ben healthy, so this line's got to hold up. Punters, Dustin Colquitt, the veteran, the 16-year veteran. That's a big thing. Jordan Berry was just cut like 2 days ago. He was inconsistent. I mean, he had his moments. He had some really good moments in Pittsburgh and some bad ones. He was just cut like 2 days ago, and they brought in Dustin Colquitt, and I guess Colquitt, the veteran, really impressed. So I like that move overall. I was kind of ambivalent toward Jordan Berry. He was streaky. He had really good games and really bad games. Didn't have his best year last year, so I can see why Colquitt was brought in. He's a trusted guy. I like him. Quarterback's another interesting note here. We have 3 under contract, and it's not the 3 we had last season. Big Ben, back from injury, thank God. Again, stay healthy because, again, if Ben goes down or does not play like Big Ben, our season is not going to be what we want it to be. In spite of how good this defense is and this roster overall is, Big Ben must stay healthy. Welcome back, Big Ben. Mason Rudolph at the 2 right now, and Josh Dobbs is back at the 3. If you guys watched my preseason videos last year, I said Josh Dobbs should have been the number 2 quarterback. We had 4 guys out there with Ben, Dobbs, Rudolph, and Duck Hodges, and they decided to trade Dobbs to Jacksonville and keep Duck. And it wound up being that Big Ben went down early. We went to Rudolph, and Rudolph did not play well. We went to Duck, who started well and then did not play well, and then back to Rudolph, and we went, man, we have no quarterbacks on this roster. Josh Dobbs, to me, showed so much improvement in between seasons, from preseason to preseason. He looked so good to me in preseason last year, and I said, man, he's your number 2 best quarterback on this roster. He's shown us he can improve in the preseason and can make big throws like he did in that one game in Baltimore that he came in, and for some reason they traded Dobbs away and put all their stock in Rudolph, and that went bad. And then the young Camp Phenom Duck came in, and that didn't go well either. So with that pick we traded to Jacksonville, though, we did use that to trade for Minka Fitzpatrick. So that wound up working out for us. And now Jacksonville has cut ties with Dobbs, and we got him back. So Dobbs is now back on the roster. We have the same roster now we had last year coming in, with Ben as the starter and then Rudolph and Dobbs being the backups. I think Dobbs is far better than Rudolph. It's good to see another trusted guy back there. He knows the system. Again, he's shown me some positive things in preseason and in the game. So I want to see Dobbs come in and even take Rudolph's spot because I believe in Dobbs a lot more than Rudolph. And I feel better about this group with Dobbs in there at backup just in case Ben does get hurt. Running backs, we have 4 on the roster. James Conner is the number 1. Benny Snell is the number 2. Rookie Anthony McFarland is the number 3. And Jalen Samuels is kind of the swing back at number 4. So that means Kareth White Jr. is no longer on the roster. He's a practice squad guy now. I like what I saw out of him last year. I'd have liked to have kept him. But the drafting of McFarland doing kind of the same stuff that White does didn't make much sense. Connor, this is a contract year for him. This is the year you find out if Connor is a number 1. I don't think he's a number 1 running back, like an every down back. But this group overall all does different things. So we have 4 guys that do 4 different things. Connor is the best overall back and the most complete back of the 4, but he's barely ever healthy. Benny Snell is the best short yardage and power back we have on the roster, who filled in at times nicely last year. Jalen Samuels is the best pass-catching back out there to do the best in the passing game. And McFarland now is our new scat back that's going to do the Kareth White stuff. The change of pace, the fast runner, the breakaway Willie Parker kind of guy that can, if he breaks a tackle or gets in the open field, he's dangerous. And he can also do kick returns if needed. So four backs, 4 different kinds of things. All together, we have a good backfield, but any one of these guys, are they going to stay healthy? It's definitely a contract kind of a year for Samuels as well. He has to show us something better. He had a bad year last year. So, again, can Connor stay healthy? Can Snell break out? Can Samuel stay on the roster? And what can McFarland bring to us? Running back is one of the biggest questions we have this year. But again, with Big Ben returning for the passing game for diversity and Derek Watt coming in as a healthy all-star fullback, this running game should improve drastically if these guys do what they can do. So I like that overall. Safeties. We've got some moves here at safety. We have 6 safeties. 6 safeties? 5 safeties I can count on this roster. Our starters, obviously, Pro Bowler Minka Fitzpatrick, he is one of the best players on this defense. He made the turnaround last year to bring this steel curtain back to Pittsburgh. I love this defense, anchored by Fitzpatrick and Watt, and Devin Bush breaking through. The other starters, Terrell Edmonds, he's been the most inconsistent player who shows flashes of brilliance. He's a good blitzer. He's a good hitter, but his coverage has not really been consistent. He has great moments and bad moments, but he's playing a full year with Fitzpatrick again. Definitely improved last year playing next to a Pro Bowler, but we'll see what happens. And the third safety, Sean Davis, is back. That opening day roster from last year is back intact. Sean Davis left us to go to Washington once we had Fitzpatrick as the starter. There was no reason to have Sean Davis, who was our 4-year starter. He wanted to go see if he could play elsewhere. Washington cut him, so we got him back at a cheap price. What an insurance policy. Safety was our least depth-filled position. I don't like Jordan Dangerfield. He's special teams, I know that, but as far as filling in, he has done nothing for us. Edmonds is not 100% certain to be our future guy, and it's coming up on, I think, one more year for a contract for him. So to bring back Sean Davis is great because Sean Davis was inconsistent being a starter, but now backing up our two starters and being a third kind of dime-style, quarter-style fill-in, I love Sean Davis in that spot. Much like, bringing back some other guys. Sean Davis really helps us a lot as a fill-in guy. So this way, he can be a third safety. He can still show the flashes of brilliance that he showed here. And if Edmonds does not play well, Davis can play next to Fitzpatrick, and that can be something fun to watch. So I love that. Also, his backups, Jordan Dangerfield's still on the roster. Again, special teams, he's pretty good, but coverage, I don't like him there, but he does his job on the third unit. And then Marcus Allen as well. He's been on and off the practice squad, on and off the team. He's had his moments, but he hasn't really played in game at all. Hasn't done much in the game for us, but he's back here as our safety valve at the fifth safety here. Tight ends, no surprises here. Eric Ebron, number 1. Vance McDonald, number 2. Zach Gentry at 3. Ebron's going to be a big, helpful target to Big Ben Roethlisberger this season. Glad he's here. He's a good red zone guy. He's a big physical guy. He makes Vance McDonald a lot better because McDonald, as number 1 tight end, struggled last year. He struggled with injuries. Last year was like his first healthy season, and then Ben wasn't there. And then when Ben's been there and he likes McDonald, McDonald gets hurt. So now to have McDonald come in as the number 2 tight end bumps his value up big time. I think he's a great number 2 option. Ebron's going to add a lot as number 1. Gentry's our big project at number 3. Gives him another year to kind of continue adding to. He's already got the size and the frame. He just needs the hands. So he's got 2 big veterans who are coming in the season healthy. So that's a good tight end group. It needed depth, and we signed Ebron and got Vance healthy. I feel good about this tight end depth. Wide receivers, we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the roster. Surprised we got the 5 we did. The first 4 are no surprise. Juju 1. Actually, they listed Deontay Johnson as being the 1, so that's a surprise to put him kind of right there at the 1 spot. But it's Juju's going to be the one that gets the main targets and the main attention. So Juju and Deontay are your main starters. Washington is back playing the 3. I love this group, and again, playing with Ben makes all the difference in the world. Can Juju be a number 1? We're going to find out this year. He was not a number 1 playing with backups last year. Ben is back. Let's see what Juju can do with no Antonio Brown and a healthy Ben. Let's see what he can do. Juju, Deontay, Washington, the rookie Chase Claypool that I like. I was kind of weird about the pick, but again, big body, physical guy. He can be a deep threat. He can be a red zone target. He's a big goal line red zone guy, which adds another big option. So Ben's now got Ebron and Claypool for the red zone. I like that. I think Claypool as a 4 is really good. So those 4 guys are obvious. Ray McCloud, the third-year player out of Clemson, was the big surprise to me. I thought we'd keep 5 guys, and the 5th guy would be Deion Kane from last season, who was getting deep targets and got a few deep catches and a few pass interferences. But he was released. He might be on the practice squad now. I'm not sure. But Deion Kane is gone. Ray McCloud is kept. McCloud, I think he was drafted by the Bills and made some waves for the Bills, but then was cut and picked up by, I think, the Colts. Don't quote me on that. He played for 2 teams in his 2 seasons, but didn't get a chance to play on the field much. He was a much hyped guy out of Clemson, being known as a really fast guy, kick returner. He might be doing kick returns for us at the 5 spot. He's fast. He can catch in traffic. So we'll see if he gets on the field at all. I doubt it. We have a couple of running backs who can catch. We have 2 big tight ends and we have 4 big wide receivers. So I don't think McLeod's going to get on the field at all. If he does, it'll be special teams. But that's your surprise there, because Dion Kane, who played pretty well last year, was let go. And Ryan Switzer, Big Ben's boy, was let go. Hasn't played well at all. I'm kind of glad to see Switzer gone personally. I don't want to see anyone lose their jobs, but he just wasn't doing anything receiving wise. His yards per catch were like 1 yard a catch, very short targets, small guy, can't break tackles, doesn't have great hands, wasn't getting any yak yards, and wasn't even taking any returns. He would just down the ball all the time. So to get McLeod in there is nice. So we've got our 5 receivers. So that's our team. What do you think of this team? What do you think of prediction wise? I'm gonna give you guys later in this week, probably in a couple of days, Thursday or Friday. I'm gonna give you guys the schedule breakdown of all the wins and losses and game by game predictions of how I think the Steelers' record will finish later at the end of this season. So in a couple of days, come back for the Steelers game by game breakdown and predictions. What do you guys think of this roster? What are you most concerned for? Who are you most looking forward to seeing? Tell me in the comments below. Go Steelers. I can't wait for this game. Are you guys as excited as I am? Talk to me in the comments. Football fans, I'll see you later in the week. Go Steelers.